U.S. combat aircraft have always occupied and still occupy a leading position in the world in terms of technological equipment. These combat vehicles are not just the height of perfection, but also a reliable shield to protect the country. In our selection, we will show the top 5 most expensive U.S. military aircraft in history. 5th place, E-2D Advanced Hawkeye. The Northrop Grumman E-2D Hawkeye is an American all-weather carrier-based tactical long-range radar detection aircraft. Its latest and most advanced version, the E-2D Advanced Hawkeye, is equipped with an EAP-Y9 radar capable of detecting stealth aircraft, a mission computer, integrated satellite communications, a flight control system, an improved T-56, and the ability to refuel in the air. This aircraft changes the rules of the game in how the Navy exercises command and control of combat, acting as a digital quarterback to get ahead of the strike, manage the mission, and protect the combat groups of aircraft carriers. The E-2D Advanced Hawkeye is the key to advancing the mission, no matter what it does. The E-2D gives the fighter an expanded awareness of the combat space, especially in the field of information operations, providing combat control, air and missile defense of the theater of operations, as well as the ability to combine multiple sensors in the onboard system. To date, there are 51 such aircraft that were produced by Northrop Grumman from 2013 to 2022. On January 21, 2022, Northrop Grumman successfully delivered a E-2D Advanced Hawkeye AA-52 production aircraft to the 51st of the U.S. Navy. With a 2-generation breakthrough in radar sensor capabilities and a robust network, Advanced Hawkeye provides critical data for action to the combined forces and rapid response services. These improvements provide fighters with the necessary situational awareness to reduce the time between initial awareness and active interaction. Northrop Grumman further states. 4th place, P-8A Poseidon. In July 2000, the U.S. Navy announced the verdict on winning the tender for the construction of the newest aircraft offered by Boeing. On March 30th of the following year, the aircraft received the designation P-8A and its own name Poseidon to speed up the commissioning of new machines on early Poseidon. It was supposed to install part of the special equipment used on the P-3C, with gradual replacement with more advanced systems. On April 25, 2009, the prototype of the God of the Seas performed its first flight. The second and third P-8A joined the tests in early August of the following year. 2 more gliders were built to carry out static and resource tests. On August 11, 2010, the U.S. government approved mass production. On October 15th of the same year, Poseidon performed the first practical reset of a series of sonar buoys. And in 2011, the aircraft program lit up in its first scandal. Counterfeit Chinese-made elements were found in the control computers of the de-icing system supplied by BAE Systems. Structurally, the R-8A is a military version of the Boeing 737-800RX passenger liner with an extended flight range. At the same time, regular winglets adopted on the ANG series, replaced with similar ones that are used on long-haul Boeing 767-400ER. On each wing console of the aircraft, there are 2 pylons for suspension of various weapons, including means of attack-guided missiles of the AGM-8 for K Harpoon and AGM-65 Maverick air-to-ground missiles, adjustable slammer bombs, MK anti-submarine torpedoes. 54. The means of protection include short-range AIM-9 Sidewinder air-to-air missiles and medium-range AIM-120 MRAM with radar guidance, which indicate the Poseidon's ability to engage in a duel even with fighters. The typical crew of the R-8A consists of 9 people, 3 pilots, one of them is a replacement, a flight engineer, and 5 operators. The fuselage of the R-8A is structurally divided into upper and lower parts. In the upper part, there are the cockpit, a compartment for the rest of the replacement crew, racks of electrical equipment, behind which the observers' workplaces are organized on the left and right. Next, up to the first wing spar, 5 operator workstations are installed along the left side. On the starboard side of the same zone there is a rest compartment for operators and computer racks. This is followed by a special equipment compartment, a flight planning area, racks with sonar buoys and revolver pneumo-controlled installations for their discharge. The upper part is completed by a computer equipment compartment, a buffet, and a bathroom. In the lower part, there are an optoelectronics station, 6 additional fuel tanks, air conditioning units, a bomb bay for suspending torpedoes and bombs, hydroacoustic buoy drop shafts. The equipment of the aircraft defense complex is installed in the nose and tail parts of the fuselage. Under the fuselage, just behind the center section, there is a faired antenna of the electronic intelligence system. A large number of various electronic equipment require the installation of electric generators with a capacity of 180 kVA on each engine, against 90 kVA on a civilian analog. Poseidon is notable, first of all, for the most modern solutions in terms of equipment, systems, as well as ways of processing and exchanging information. Its key features include Northrop Grumman and OA LQ-240V1, Marine Patrol onboard hardware system, sighting and navigation complex developed by Smiths Aerospace with an open architecture that allows you to perform task build-up and their flexible reconfiguration. Raytheon and AAPS-137DV5 multi-purpose radar with inverse synthesized aperture, which allows you to create terrain maps, identify stationary surface targets, and in a special mode, submarines located at periscope depth, fast-moving vessels in the coastal zone, as well as detect aerial targets. Raytheon and EAPY-10 electronic intelligence system, gyro-stabilized digital optoelectronics station L3 WESCAM X20HD, on a retractable turret, EWSP electronic counter-action system digital magnetic anomaly detector, replacing the traditional magnetometer. Third place, C-17A Globemaster. In the 1980s, the main purpose of U.S. military aviation transport in the event of a possible escalation of the conflict between NATO and the states of the Socialist Commonwealth was the prompt delivery of troops and strategic cargo across the Atlantic to Europe. In 1981, Air Force specialists determined the minimum of air transportation for this purpose, 96 million ton-kilometers per day. But the entire American military fleet, consisting mainly of Lockheed aircraft, in those years provided only 66 million ton-kilometers. In January 1988, even before planning flight tests, the manufacturer signed a contract worth over $600 million to create production copies of the C-17A Globemaster. The first aircraft was assembled at a production site in Long Beach in December 1990, and the first flight was sent on May 18, 1992. Flight tests were completed in December 1994, by which time the Air Force had received 16 production C-17 Globemaster aircraft. In June 1993, the 17th Transport Squadron, part of the 437th Wing, received the first C-17. The C-17 Globemaster is designed specifically for the delivery of bulky cargo directly to combat zones located at a considerable distance from the air base. This is the main advantage of the aircraft. In the 1980s, only about 60 German airfields were suitable for landing heavy transporters, and the C-17 aircraft could land at 130 airfields in Germany. If we compare the C-17 Globemaster with the competitor, the C-141, then the first one could transport twice as much cargo. At the same time, unloading required much less time. When compared with the C-5 Galaxy heavy transporter, the combat readiness of the C-17 turns out to be significantly higher. it is 80% versus 50%. The smallest turning radius of the S-17 is 27.5 meters. Second place, F-22 Raptor. The F-22 Raptor fighter is a multi-purpose vehicle developed jointly by the most successful U.S. companies in the aircraft industry. This project was launched to replace the outdated model of the F-15 Eagle fighter. The new F-22 class aircraft is the only representative of the 5th class fighter aircraft that is in service with the U.S. Air Force. In the summer of '86, a competition was launched to create a new device. While two teams were organized to create a new unit, 50 months were allocated for design. Both products were ready at the beginning of '90. They were designated as the YF-22 product and the YF-3 product, due to the fact that a large number of funds were used in the process of designing and manufacturing. In the '80s, manufacturers had to discard the installation of a side view radar and some other optics and protection systems. The customers themselves were forced to abandon this equipment, since the installation of this advanced equipment would lead to a higher cost of further development of the F-22 project. The winner of this competition in the summer of 1991 was announced. A car that was created by such companies Lockheed, Boeing, and Dynamics. The body of this fighter consisted of 40% of new composite materials, the use of which made it possible to significantly reduce the weight of the structure. These materials were represented by carbon fiber with increased resistance to overheating. Materials that absorbed radio waves were widely used in the structure. Many parts were equipped with PCM, which are made of bismaleimide. They allowed to withstand a temperature of 230 degrees. Such structures as the cockpit canopy, chassis compartments were made in a sawtooth shape. This design contributed to a more efficient scattering of electromagnetic waves, which reduced the visibility of the machine in flight for enemy radars. The wings of the F-22 Raptor aircraft had a diamond-shaped shape with a vertical V-shaped stabilizer. As for the survivability of the machine, it was designed taking into account the withstanding of Russian-made incendiary shells, which had a caliber of 30 millimeters. First place, the B-2 Spirit, the most expensive military aircraft in the history of the whole world, closes our selection. When conducting combat operations, it is necessary to have not only a numerical, but also a tactical advantage. It was for these purposes that American designers created a unique Northrop B-2 Spirit bomber with unusual characteristics. The purpose of such aircraft is the destruction of enemy combat crews and breakthroughs through air defense. The Northrop B-2 bomber was an American breakthrough in the creation of invisible aircraft. The bomber is driven by 4 turbojet engines located in the central part of the hull. The motors are located deep in the hull to reduce the visibility of enemy radar defenses. The design of the Northrop B-2 Spirit provides modern stealth and navigation systems. Thanks to them, the bomber can operate for a long time on enemy territory unnoticed. The design of the Northrop B-2 is really impressive, but the size of the unit is even more striking. So, the length of the side part is more than 20 meters, and the wingspan is 52. Of course, such dimensions are much smaller than those of a standard bomber. But it is also not worth talking about complete invisibility. The aircraft, according to the engineer's idea, was intended for the transportation and subsequent dumping of nuclear warheads. But it turned out that the design is so successful that other weapons for point attacks will fit. On board, the permanent armament of the B-2 includes 16 thermonuclear bombs, which have a capacity of 340 kilotons, or AGM-131. Such equipment causes enormous damage to the enemy's infrastructure. As we can see, the skies of the United States and its allies are reliably protected. Subscribe to the channel so as not to miss the latest collections of tops in the USA.